Good morning, Mrs. and Mr. at Bangi Conference participant. Introducing, my name is Grizelda. As a presenters, we will write together this paper with my three other friends. There are Mrs. Rika Rawati, Mr. Mahendra, dan Mrs. Emilda Kusupraningrum. We will discuss about ASEAN political security community in handling trafficking in person in Southeast Asia. We are from Faculty of Law, Mula Braman University, Indonesia. We will divide this presentation into three chapters. First, on the background, second, on the problems, and the third, on the discussion material. First, in the background, the definition of human trafficking in protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in person, especially women and children, supplementing the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime. Means that trafficking in person means the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of person by means of the trade or use of force or other form of coercion, of adoption, of fraud, of deception, of the abuse of power, or of a position of vulnerability, or of the giving or receiving payment or benefits to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person for the purpose of exploitation. Exploitation shall include at minimum the exploitation of the prostitution of the other or other form of sexual exploitation, forced labor or services, slavery, or practices similar to slavery, servitude, or the removal of organ. Article 3, paragraph A. Next, we will talk about the data. It is a bit difficult to find and write data on trafficking in ASEAN, but UNDOC divides data on trafficking in East Asia and Pacific region, which is ASEAN included in. Data from UNDOC state that human trafficking data reached its highest level in 2019 with a ratio of 0.33 out of 100,000 population in Asia and Pacific to, to, to 2020 experienced a decline due of COVID with a ratio of 0.34 out of 100,000 population. And the data about the number of victims of trafficking for sexual exploitation detected per 100,000 population is Asia and Pacific. In 2020, 0.08. And the number of victims domestic trafficking in 2020, 0.16 of 100,000 population in Asia and Pacific. The last data about the number of victims of cross-border trafficking detected per 100,000 population in 2020, 0.19 data. But in the COVID period, 2020 until 2033, human trafficking in Southeast Asia have the new model of human trafficking case involving Indonesian citizens is online scamming. Scams such as fraudulent investment, love scam, money laundering, and others. Victims are recruited and ensured by promise of lucrative jobs in neighboring countries, but end up in the trap of exploitation. During the 2020 until 2023 period, there were 24 34 cases related to online scam handled by Indonesia representative in the Southeast Asian. We can see there is new mode after the COVID era with online scam. So what the problem? Actually, we want to identify regulation in tackling trafficking in person and how the effectiveness of handling trafficking in person within the framework of the ASEAN political security community. We will see the regulation plus. But first, global regulation we can see in the international convention for the suppressing of white slave traffic 1921 International Convention of the Suppression of Traffic in Women and Children, 1921 International Convention of the Suppression of Traffic Women of All Age, 1930 and Convention on the Elimination of all form of discrimination against women, or CEDAW, at 1979. The last is United Nations Protocol to Prevent, Suppress, and Punish Trafficking in Person, especially women and children. We can say it, Palermo Convention 2000 consists of 3 protocols, namely 1. Protocols against the smuggling of migrants by land, air, and sea. Protocol of Prevent, Suppress, and Punish Trafficking in Person, especially women and children. Protocol against the illicit manufacturing of a trafficking firearm, their parts and component and ammunition. The last one, Universal Declaration or UDHR, Article 1, that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and right. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act toward one another in spirit brotherhood. The regional regulations say the first one, there are blueprint ASEAN Political Security Community 2009 and 2015, and ASEAN Declaration Against Human Trafficking in Person, particularly women and children, 2004 and 2015, ASEAN Plan of Action Against Trafficking in Person, especially women and children, in 2015. Okay, I think this presentation is still very basic and needs a lot of input from all of you. Suggestion and input are welcome. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.